Today has been a day. I will give a meaning before I drop. The celebrant, distinguished visionary leader, a father, an elder statesman, the chairman of the occasion, and his wife, distinguished senior sons and daughters of Nigeria, particularly General Magoro and General Akilu, senators serving and retired, correction, former governors, senators or members of national and state assemblies here present, fellow brothers and sisters here present as candidates and running mates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, to me, it is an honor to be here. It is an honor indeed at this point in time for me to have emerged as a candidate of my own party, Action Alliance. And then on the second hand, the invitation to honor this occasion of a leader that we saw at work in peacetime and in crisis time. But let me say in a nutshell, that for the number of years some of us were exposed, seeing his work at a close range, we know he was a school to seniors and juniors. He was a school to many elders across Nigeria and indeed African leaders. Let me start with one tiny little one. I was virtually working hard to grow mustache at that age when in 1985, and I'm referring to the services rendered helpless by the likes of General Akilu in holding the country tight. Things were difficult. Everywhere was gloomy. But resilience and sheer style of real leadership kept him to close all aspects of fears or threats or anything that will disturb the entire country from knowing the true state of the country. He kept it himself with the support of the likes of such leaders that do not like to be talked about in public. General Akilu, I beg your pardon, sir. At that time, Nigeria was on the verge of catching fire, in the true sense of it. One day, there was a meeting, and we were privileged to have been part of those that accompanied members of National Security Council then. When President Babangida came out, he was visibly talking to himself. This is a moment I can never forget. It has a big meaning to me
if you start this,
in the sense that
there will be no end.
When he came out, service chiefs of that time were already outside.
You won't stop it.
But Solulokwe, indeed, he was saying, and I quote, he said, everything will sort itself by time. It was strange. That's why some of us, toddlers as we were, we had to climb that. It looked nothing to an ordinary person. But looking at the situation in Nigeria and looking at this sentence or this statement, it means so much. I went on research even as a toddler, only to discover something that most great nations worked upon in achieving greatness. That is to say, there is no end to possibilities in the life of man, in the life of nations. That statement is an open gate of knowledge that you cannot learn nowhere. Between rhetorics and academics and realism of threats or challenges of power management are two different worlds apart. It was up until he made that statement that I got to know numerous events about many countries that rose up to have become the greatest countries on earth. And I cannot thank him enough. Second was when at a later date or years after that event, another thing happened in Nigeria. The executive convener was a small lady who liked to take car and run around the presidency then, but didn't know what was going on. The president had another serious challenge. Lives were lost. All I'm trying to say here is the fact that he faced challenges in 1990, and may also rest in peace the former First Lady, who from the events of that time that I do not want to go deep into, but drawing at the lesson I want to mention, is to say that the event of that time brought fear, direct, looking for lives. But then some of us were, in a way, God Almighty used in taking some risk that worked. Now, the civilians of
you have a minute, sir. Thank you very much.
Either, if you say 2 minutes, I thought you are referring to African 2 minutes. The relevance of what I'm talking about, I think are important for you to consider one more African minute. Now, finally, let me say that out of numerous events that had happened during his tenureship are exactly what all of you have summarized. That's all I'm trying to say. You have summarized his legacies, and most of you are going deeper into it, and you are looking at him differently. If his legacies were to be discussed in 1993, shortly before he left office, we wouldn't have gotten these details. Here is a country full of intellectuals who, in most cases, totally robotic, seeing the left side of the person that is in power. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, today, if President Babangida is to contest 2023 election, from the summaries you have all given from the guest speaker to the panelists, to all the speakers we have heard since morning, it shows he is much more needed now in Nigeria than before.
Fantastic.
And finally, that is to say, when Nigeria sit in retrospect, examine our flaws and achievements of yesterday, it is certain that will be the beginning for us realizing who we are. If there is no national retreat, we will not understand who we were. And one of the major challenges is the fact that there are too many actors in one particular scene and at a particular time. What you see is dust and rowdiness and no result or direction for us to see. I'm confident this country will be different. I'm confident the schools we have had from him that we are celebrating today, I think there is so much from knowledge and wisdom that will drive us through. We are in Action Alliance, privileged to be here, but we know most of the legacies he left in office and from the tower of wisdom he occupies today, we are tapping from it, and we are sure that and many more that we have garnered will present in us the qualities required of Nigeria at this point in time. And finally, so that you wouldn't raise. In most cases, you used to hear countries like America giving Nigeria a certain period of time for the country to break. Let every intellectual open his brain and think deeper. All this they are telling you is that by your actions, either in power or outside power, the elites are always in your sayings and actions busy promoting causes of insurgency. But the resilience of the poor man, of him that is on the street, is actually what is keeping Nigeria. For example, the panelists as you are, how many of you, from whichever part of the country you are, pick telephone to call the other from the other side in discussing Nigeria's security, welfare, and well-being? You haven't, but you have accused leaders. And I'm sure you haven't. Most calls are from personal interest, not national interest, not Nigeria's unity, security. So if we have to keep Nigeria together, challenge leadership from the point of view of four things when you are looking at Nigeria from home and from the international scene. Nigeria's security, economy, Nigeria's relevance, the word relevance and all it takes. And finally, Nigeria's participation within Committee of Nations regaining its own true state of power. So when we are pointing accusing fingers at some, we should also examine the other side before we pronounce.
Right.
I, on behalf of my party and the party leadership of Action Alliance, are conveying our birthday felicitations to the leader that, to me, saw it all. Tested, tried, survived with full of knowledge. And one real thing he did was courage. The word courage of all qualities of leadership. And that's where, not only in Nigeria, but around the world, history has recorded numerous failures of leadership where the word courage is missing. Among qualities of leadership that we examine a particular leader with is the capacity to carry all alone, to demonstrate it, and to say it. Thank you.